Last night on MasterChef Australia.
That is so salty.
3 top contenders were up for elimination.
Hayden, I'm sorry, you're out.
Even though you didn't quite make it to the end, you still had that massive adventure all the way through and learnt so much. I did enjoy it. It was great.
Tonight, it's masterclass, and George goes vegetarian.
Turnip and mushroom ravioli.
Ben and Elvis from Porteño are here to fire up the grill for an Argentinian treat.
So this is our barbecued spatchcock.
Kate and Michael go bush
Here we have a lemon myrtle.
with the master of modern Indigenous, Mark Olive.
It's going to be so zesty, so exciting.
And Gary cooks up a dessert with none of the usual suspects.
Smashed cheesecake with pumpkin ice cream and candied kumquats.
Oh, I love that.
It's like Christmas pudding, isn't it?
There's only 5 of us going into masterclass today, so the group's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Any little tip that we can get during a masterclass is going to be an advantage for all of us.
What was that?
Welcome back to the MasterChef kitchen and welcome to Masterclass. Look at that little group there. The top 5. Not so long ago, there was a horde of you, a massive herd, a pod of aspiring chefs. And now we're at the very end of this competition. It's a special place to be. And of course, another masterclass to pick up some tips and tricks that may catapult you into that final week.
Each week we pick a couple of you to attend a private masterclass, an opportunity to pick up new techniques from some of the best people in the business. And this week we've got an absolute beauty lined up for you. This proud Australian has been a chef for 25 years. He has a passion for fusing native food and culture with his modern cooking. He's worked in some top restaurants around the world, then returned back to Melbourne to head up a catering company and, of course, his own TV series. Of course, I'm talking about the bush food crusader, Mark Olive, also known as the Black Olive. Mark has a brilliant understanding of Australian native food, herbs and spices. He'll be creating some amazing recipes using these outback ingredients.
And the lucky 2 people are Kate and Michael.
Earlier this week, we had a very special guest join us on MasterChef. He's one of the most influential people on the planet. It was such an honour for you guys to cook for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. You were asked to produce a vegetarian dish or dessert of your choice. And you had the wonderful Kylie Kwong mentor you through the whole process. Religious or not, I think it was an emotional day for all of us. I mean, for you guys having to cook for such a powerful man. In the spirit of the Dalai Lama, I thought would cook a vegetarian dish, a dish that possibly I would have cooked for him if I had that opportunity. The dish I'm going to cook is turnip and mushroom ravioli with candied feta and blueberries. Right, guys, the first step is to slice and poach our turnips. Now, the turnips are actually going to be the skin of the pasta. So we're not making a traditional flour pasta mixture. We're using the turnips as the pasta. We need to get our poaching liquid on to poach our turnips. So what we've got here is icing sugar, 100 grams of icing sugar and 100 grams of unsalted butter. We're going to add that to a litre of milk. And we just rain the icing sugar into the milk. And the butter will give it lots of buttery flavour.
Give it a bit of flavour, yeah, I love that.
So we've got 100 grams of butter, 100 grams of icing sugar and a litre of milk on a medium heat, bringing that gently up to a simmer. Right, now we're going to slice our turnips, which are going to act as the ravioli skin, the pasta skin. Just make a base on our turnip. And then we take our mandolin. Now, I'd like you guys to use a guard. Okay, do what I say, not what I do. I'm going to slice, you know, about 30 slices, just so I've got backup, yeah? You know, it's not flour and eggs, you know, where it's quite pliable. You've got to be really careful with this. They can crack, so always make a few extra. Right, we've sliced the turnip. Next step is to poach it. One at a time, throw them into the liquid, so they're covered in that liquid. And just push that down. And these will take a couple of minutes to cook, won't take long at all. It's very important that you keep an eye on them. Can you hold that for me?
I can indeed, yeah.
Gary.
George has these assistants now that he's famous.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, there you go.
Right, the next step is to make our little mushroom filling. Gary?
Yep. Oh, you're going to make me do some work, are you?
Yeah, why not?
Right, so let's put a little bit of olive oil in the pan.
Yep.
So this is going to be the filling. It's going to like a duxelle, but nice and fresh. So you've got some chopped shallots. It's about a tablespoon there, so
Yep.
about 1 shallot, finely diced. In they go. And I think what we'll do is just let those cook for 10 seconds or so. We don't want too much colour on that. And then we're going to pop in the mushrooms. And we've got a few different types. We've got some oyster mushrooms and shimiji, which we've diced up, nice and small. And then we've got enoki and shiitake mushrooms. So we'll pop those in as well. So what we've got in there is a couple of cups of mushrooms, and you can use any type of exotic mushroom. There's lots of different varieties that you can buy.
Or you could use just a button mushroom.
Button mushrooms, yeah. Just want a little bit of butter in there as well.
A little bit of butter, half that.
And just let that draw through. And remember, that's going to give it flavour as well. George has roasted some garlic. It's probably about 3 cloves of roasted garlic there.
Yep.
In we go. Just mix that around. And remember, that's going to give you an entirely different flavour than if you cook the garlic in the pan. So we're just going to put in a pinch of thyme leaves, and then we're just going to sprinkle that in, just enough so that the flavour bleeds into the mushroom. Chopped chives.
Beautiful.
A couple of tablespoons, just enough to... Actually, we'll put the whole lot in,
Yeah.
a couple of tablespoons. And then straight off, all right? What I'm doing is just draining that in a colander, just in case there's a little bit of extra oil in there that needs to come out. Smells absolutely lovely.
Right, these have taken about 2 minutes at a gentle simmer, and you can see they've just softened slightly. They're ready to go.
And while they're still warm, is just, you know, lay them out so they're easy to pick up and work with. They'll cool down quickly so they won't overcook, and the risk is because they're so thin that they'll overcook if they're all stacked up. But they look lovely.
The next step is to fill our turnip ravioli. So what we do is we pick out the larger bits of turnip first and just lay them on our chopping board. Take some of our filling and just place that in the middle. Now it's important that you place this with lots of care and it's not messy. All right, and you know, really you can be as creative as you like in terms of what filling you put in there. I mean, you know, when chestnuts are in season, use chestnuts, make a beautiful little chestnut puree.
That's good. Look good, don't they?
Now we put the tops on. So we gently just tease that around. With the stickiness, because it's been cooked in sugar and butter, it will glue it together, all right? Pop in a cutter and just trim off any excess. Or, you know what, if you don't want to, you don't have to. Now, to reheat these, we're going to pop them onto a plate and literally microwave them for 30 seconds. And gently lift up the ravioli with a palette knife and place them on.
I actually like that little line of skin around there. I think
The purple
smashed.
looks great.
Yeah.
Right, we've made our raviolis. All we need to do now is heat these up. What's left to make is a lovely little hazelnut dressing and some sauté mushrooms to garnish. So we're cooking turnip and mushroom ravioli with candied feta and blueberries. The next step in this recipe is to make the vinaigrette. The vinaigrette is a hazelnut vinaigrette and it's very, very simple to make. Chopped up golden shallots, so, you know, a tablespoon worth of them. Some roasted and peeled hazelnuts. We'll go 2 tablespoons of them. A half a tablespoon of chopped chives. Some vinegar, champagne vinegar. About a tablespoon worth. And olive oil, about 5 tablespoons worth. Now, with the ravioli, we've got blueberries and we've got what we call here candied feta. And it's basically feta that we've crumbled up on a tray, we've sprinkled sugar over the top and dehydrated at about 60 degrees overnight. And what you end up is with this sort of caramelised, salty but sweet, crispy feta. The final thing we need to do is sauté a few mushrooms to go over the top of the ravioli.
So what have we got here? We've got some oyster mushrooms, white oyster mushrooms, enoki, which are those lovely little thin mushrooms, and shimiji, which are very similar in texture to the oyster mushroom, but lovely. All right, I'll do those.
Great.
A little bit of olive oil, and then we'll pop these mushrooms in the enoki at the last second so that they keep their integrity. So a few of those, half a cup of those oyster mushrooms, and half a cup of the shimiji. And when I'm cooking mushrooms, I make sure that the pan is really hot because otherwise they're going to stew as they release some of the water. So a bit of salt. And what I make sure of, they're just taking on a little bit of colour before I then go and flip them all. And then throw in these enokis at the last second because otherwise they'll overcook. So this takes about a minute because they're very soft, they're very delicate, they rest through very quickly. And what you don't want is to destroy the mushrooms so they go all soggy. They've just got that lovely little golden brown. They're not overcooked, so you've kept the enoki mushrooms so they've got some texture about them. So we'll just take those out.
Oh, wonderful.
Look at those. Lovely.
Right, we're nearly ready. All we have to do now is re-warm our turnip ravioli, and we do that by popping it into a microwave for 30 seconds. Beautiful. Right, 30 seconds, that's how long they take to warm up. Gary?
Yeah, I thought you were going to do that. You're going to make me pick them up. And where do you want them? Do you want them randomly?
Yeah, just sort of, you know.
Across the plate?
Yeah. And I'm going to add lots of little herbs and lettuce leaves as well. So we've got a little bit of rosemary. And then we've got these mushrooms.
Ooh.
Okay, so we've put some mushrooms down.
Oh, delicious.
We've got our blueberries, so we'll just scatter them around. Oh. And then we've got lots of these just little leaves. We've got some basil flowers, and we're just going to pick them over the top. Little mint leaves. Little celery leaves as well. They go on there.
And I like these microbes because they're obviously the baby version of the big leaf, but quick to grow.
Mizuna, baby Mizuna leaves.
Which is a sort of a peppery lettuce leaf.
Yeah. Some of our candied feta.
And you'd buy these micro herbs in a good fruit and vegetable shop?
Yeah, yeah.
Or a deli?
Yeah. And then some of our hazelnut dressing to finish. And a good way to gloss up the ravioli as well. There you have it. Turnip and mushroom ravioli with candied feta and blueberries.
Beautiful. Really good. Yum.
Ali and Kate, come up for a taste.
It does look really good.
It's pretty as a picture.
Super, this.
Get the whole one in your mouth.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Yep.
Yeah. Make sure you get some blueberries and some mushrooms. Those beautiful sautéed mushrooms.
It's such a light dish. I love the turnip, and then the mushroom is really strong, but also the balance of flavours, the saltiness of that candied feta and the sweetness of the blueberries is just a combination I would never think to put together, but it works really well.
I love the presentation, it's just beautiful, and I also love the textures. You've got that crispy feta, the hazelnuts, and the softness of the turnips is really beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Let's go.
My top 3 tips for turnip and mushroom ravioli with blueberries and candied feta are, number 1, experiment with different vegetables to create your pasta sheet. Number 2, when poaching the turnip skins, make sure you keep an eye on them because they'll overcook very quickly. And my tip number 3 is when cooking mushrooms, nice hot pan, cook them quickly and they'll be absolutely delicious. There you have it. Great dishes don't need to just be about beef, lamb and pork. They can be vegetarian. Things like pulses, leaves and vegetables are absolutely delicious. Here in Australia, we're lucky enough to have some of the best produce in the world. On top of that, some of the best cuisines and cultures. So this week, I thought we'd go a little bit South American. We've invited 2 top chefs that run one of Sydney's hottest Argentinian grills. Please welcome Ben and Elvis from Porteño and Bodega. How are you?
Good. How you doing, mate? How are you, man?
How are you, man? All right.
Hey, guys. How are you? We cook what we love to eat. Basically, that's what our menu revolves around.
Here at Porteño, we use a charcoal grill where we cook a lot of our cuts on, and then we also have an asador, which is a wood-fired pit that we roast our whole animals over.
Nothing tastes the same as the flavour that you get from the coal or the wood.
Elvis, Ben, welcome to the MasterChef kitchen. It's an absolute honour having you 2 boys here. Now, can you tell our contestants a little bit about Argentinian cuisine?
Argentinian cuisine's actually very, very simple, very much like Australian cuisine. Like the produce is very similar because of the climate is the same as here. It's Southern Hemisphere, so a lot of the produce you get in Australia, you get in Argentina.
But it's strongly based around meat and coal and fire and
Salt.
plenty of salt.
Ben, what are you guys going to cook for us today?
We're going to be doing a barbecued spatchcock and deep-fried Brussels sprouts with lentils, mint and vincotto dressing. So we get the spatchcock. First thing we're going to do is trim the wing tips off because they generally burn. Just use scissors, it's the easiest thing to do. Pull the legs kind of towards you and you're going to cut between the breast and the thighs, just through the skin. And then once you've loosened the leg and the thigh out, you're going to grab the breast and pull it forward and kind of open it up. And then you've kind of got the bird like that. You're going to get your finger and hook in underneath the neck and just fish it out. It'll pull through, and then you're going to trim that whole piece off. Next step, you've got some sort of membrane and a little bit of rib. So you just want to trim all that away. You still want to cook it on the bone, but you want to get rid of all the sort of small bones that you can choke on, I guess. And then once you've sort of taken all the bones on the other side, you're going to flip it over and also get your fingers in between the 2 breasts here and just pop that. And then you've got to kind of...
It's even cooking surface.
Yeah, even cooking surface. So, you know, the breast is going to take as long as the legs will. Next step is to season and olive oil the bone side first.
Why the bone side first?
We're going to cook it on the bone side for roughly 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So you basically take the spatchcock all the way through from one side, and then the last half you'll flip it over and cook it for a further 5 to 10 minutes just to crisp the skin.
Okay. Now, I mean, that's it, oil and salt. Is that what Argentinian food's all about?
Whenever you get meats and stuff, you always get chimichurri on the side, so I smash heaps of that all over it, you know what I mean? So there's no need for marinades or anything like that.
Yeah.
Next step, bone side down on a medium to high heat. charcoal grill. You could even roast it in the oven if you want. You just got to watch it. If it's colouring up too fast, you don't want that either. So.
The next step is the crispy fried Brussels sprouts. You want to cook your lentils. These lentils here have just been boiled in salted water till they're tender, but you still want a little bit of texture left in them. Then we move on to our Brussels sprouts. We cut them in half, fry them at 160 degrees. When you drop anything into a fry, especially a raw vegetable, there's quite a bit of moisture in it, so it's gonna splatter, and you probably want to move back. You want a nice, deep, rich colour on them. Sometimes they look like they're a bit overcooked and almost like burnt, but they're not. That's what you want, and you want that really nutty flavour. We're gonna get our Brussels sprouts in. So get a handful, drop them, fry down, and just step back. Man, that's hot, that thing.
How's the spatchcock going, Ben?
Yep, ready to turn. So it's had about 20 minutes, so we're going to flip it over. Oh! That's what you want to see. Nice, even colour, plenty of it. And we're just going to squeeze some lemon on that side. So we're going to leave that on the skin side for about another 10 minutes and then rest it for 5 after it comes off.
Next, the dressing for the Brussels sprouts.
Get about a tablespoon of hot English mustard. Vincotto, which is a vinegar made from the must of the grapes. I give it about 4 tablespoons.
Yep.
And some lime juice in there. Just some sharpness, because the Vincotto is quite sweet. And just whisk that up. Just break up the mustard. At our restaurants, we always use new seasoned olive oil, so quite green and vibrant. And yeah, just pour that in slowly. Once this hits the Brussels sprouts, it's all going to split, but that's fine.
Ben, what are we doing next?
Basically going to pull the spatchcock off and rest it. You can use your mitts or a pair of tongs, whatever suits.
Oh, yum. OK, so we'll let that rest for how long?
About 5 minutes.
5 minutes, great.
Yeah, so the Brussels sprouts are ready now, so...
Oh, look at them.
In the bowl they go. Nice and crispy and golden.
They look crispy, dark. They look like caramel. It looks...
You could really just, like, put salt on them and just, like, eat them straight up. But we won't. We'll add some dressing to it and make them taste even better than that.
Oh. So how much dressing?
Probably about 5 tablespoons.
Yep.
Just enough until they're nicely coated.
Yep.
Then we'll add some lentils, probably about half a handful.
And they're going to add a lovely texture, yeah?
That's right, yeah. They get in between the sort of like fried leaves and they just like pop in your mouth when you're eating it. And then some fresh mint. Yeah, that's it. Mix it all through.
That looks absolutely fantastic. Looks beautiful. Brilliant. Ben, the spatchcock's been resting.
Just going to carve it up. Usually like to go on either side of the sort of parson's nose bit, the best bit.
Oh, yum.
And then the breast, you can just go straight down the centre. Just going to serve it with a cheek of lemon and some olive oil and salt just to finish it off.
And of course our Brussels sprouts, Elvis.
That's it, they're all done.
So this is our barbecued spatchcock and crispy Brussels sprouts.
I always arrive at just the right time, don't I? I can smell it and I'm going, yeah, I want to eat. It smells good.
We don't want to, but we have to call up a couple of you to taste.
No, there's not enough chicken.
There's not.
Only enough for one person.
Michael?
Yeah.
Come on down.
Awesome.
Danny? Come on. Right, off you go.
I want to try some of these Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, off you go. Get
Right,
stuck
off you
in
go.
that.
Oh. This is a bit I
Yeah, that is the best bit. Hands when you eat.
Yeah, you got to use
okay?
your mitts. Yeah.
The spatchcock is so juicy.
Yeah.
That's because the bone's still attached to the whole animal.
The chicken's beautiful, it's so tender, but those Brussels sprouts are just...
What do you taste in there?
The mustard, you taste the mustard, but it doesn't overpower it like I thought a hot English mustard would, and it's just really balanced, and then these really nutty, crispy Brussels sprouts just
Oh, they're
Anyone
so good.
would love those. Yeah, they are unreal.
Right.
I know a few of you want to take maybe take the Brussels sprouts back.
You need to try them. They're so good.
Oh my God, I want more.
My top 3 tips are, number 1, when boning the spatchcock, make sure you get it in an even thickness so it cooks at the same time. Number 2, resting the spatchcock for at least 5 minutes after it comes off, just so everything settles down. And number 3, when you're frying the Brussels sprouts, make sure you get them nice and crispy and cooked all the way through.
Ben, Elvis, thank you for coming into the MasterChef kitchen and showing the guys a few tips and tricks, but above all, showing them what Argentinian food is all about. Great ingredients, simply cooked. We can't wait to see you boys soon at Porteño. Thank you so much.
We had a pressure test earlier on in the week where Katrina Canatani came in and wove her dessert magic, and she created a dessert called Autumn, which was this lovely combination of rhubarb and that lovely sort of white chocolate snow, and gave you the impression of autumn itself. So I've had to think about it, and I thought, come up with something that reminds us of winter. So I've done a smashed cheesecake with pumpkin ice cream and candied kumquats. So the first step is we're going to make the cheesecake. This is a cold cheesecake recipe. You would have done a baked cheesecake with Donna Hay. So first up, the sabayon, and I need someone to put in the hard work, the elbow grease. So, Alana. Yeah. I nearly picked you, Danny, because you're sort of wearing a pumpkin ice cream top. Very similar to it's very wintry in colour. So first up, we're going to make the sabayon. So what a sabayon is an egg foam. You've made these before, and it's crucial to control the temperature. So first thing, big bowl. Water, only about 1/3 full, so that the base of the bowl doesn't touch the water. And you want a gentle simmer, so what it does is heat the bowl, which will cook that aerated egg yolk. So I want you to put 3 egg yolks in there, and about half the sugar, which is about 100 grams. And then we've got 80 mils of muscat, which will act as the liquid, which will lighten this foam. Yep. And then I want you to split one of these vanilla beans right down the middle and take the seeds out. Okay. What I find important is that you mix this into a light mixture and aerate it slightly before it hits the heat, all right? Yep, chuck it in. Let's pop it on the heat, continue whisking. Just tip the bowl on the side there and see how you're getting all these lovely little bubbles. Every so often, just pick it up, and if you think it's getting away from you and getting too hot, then take the bowl out and pop it onto the board. It smells beautiful. Keep going.
You can put all sorts of flavours in, can't you?
Yep. See, that's starting to thicken up beautifully. So the 2 cheeses we're using are the goat's curd. I've got 350 grams. I've got cream cheese, 250 grams. And then the extra creamy bit is 200 grams of sour cream. So while you're doing that, I'm going to take the cheeses, all right? And I'm going to pop them in the mixer, and I'm going to soften the cream cheese first, because cream cheese is really quite tight. And we'll just turn that on. And what I want to do is just soften that cream cheese, because then it will mix really well together. So we can start it off slow, and then turn it up, and make sure that it's nice and aerated. Alana, that is perfect. Go on, lift the whisk up. Look at that.
It's really
good enough to eat just on its own. Taste test. That's smashing.
Oh,
all right,
yum.
so that's ready to go to mix our ingredients. So I'll continue to mix the cheeses, and then we'll mix those together. Now I want to add the goat's curd, mix those together and soften that. And then just pop it down. So, sour cream. And can you do me a favour? See the remainder of the vanilla pods?
Yep.
If you take the seeds out of that. So just a reminder, what we've got in there is 350 grams of the goat's curd, 250 grams of the cream cheese, and 200 grams of sour cream. And we've whipped that up so it's nice and soft. Beautiful. Chuck the vanilla in there. Just for you. So, cheesecake's nearly ready to go in terms of mixing this all together, but we're going to set it with gelatin, all right? So these are gold gelatin leaves. So just pop that into cold water. It can be iced or just cold. So I've got 3.5 leaves. And then what we're going to do is we've got juice of 2 limes. We're just going to warm that gently. Now, should we mix this together?
Yep, sounds good.
So what I always do, half of that mixture into the sabayon and then fold in the remainder. All right. Let's add this Give it a light whisk. All right, that's brilliant.
Yep.
Taste. How is it? Nice?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Tastes good.
Yep.
Right, so let's bring that lime juice and pop it here. And then I want you to dissolve that gelatin, drop it into the lime juice, and just swill it around until it's dissolved. Right, while you're fiddling around with that, we've got the 3 egg whites from the 3 yolks that we used to make the sabayon, and we're going to whip this up with the other half of the sugar, and then we're going to fold that meringue into the cheesecake. So we need to aerate these egg whites, so we're making a meringue. And just pour in 125 grams of sugar. So just let it build a little bit of a foam, and then we just rain in the rest of the sugar. And with that amount of sugar in that egg white, you'll end up with a nice, smooth meringue. Right,
it's beautiful.
In goes the gelatin. In go the egg whites. Look how lovely and light that is. So, 2 tins, 24 centimetres. The mixture I've made is enough for 2 thin cheesecakes or 1 generous fat one. Okay, so, all right, in the fridge.
Okay.
Cheesecake is in the fridge. It'll take about an hour or so to set. Now, I'm going to show you just quickly with these vanilla pods that we've scraped out and taken the seeds. It seems such a shame to throw these away. You can make little sticks out of them. And to make them palatable, I cut them as finely as I can, so I get little sticks out of it. Put it onto a little sheet of greaseproof, and then sprinkle it or toss them in sugar. And you can put them in a slow oven, 50 to 80 degrees, to dry out, or you can just leave them on the side and they'll dry out. Alana, cheers, big ears.
Thank you.
You can sit down. All right, so on to the next little part of my winter dessert. These are kumquats, and I'm going to poach them in a simple syrup. So kumquats into a small pot. And then for the syrup, and I said a simple sugar syrup, didn't I? This is maple syrup. 300 mils. We've got 100 mils of vincotta. And then we've got some spices. First of all, star anise. In she goes. Got cinnamon quill. 4 cloves. And then I've got some juniper berries, which again, very wintry. In they go. And last little thing, a little grate of nutmeg. So we don't have to put too much in, just enough to just give us that little flavour. Pop the heat on, bring that up to a gentle simmer, and then cook those kumquats in that syrup for about 5 to 6 minutes. You pop a lid on, and then just let them sit there. So we're halfway through making my smashed cheesecake winter dessert. So next up, with a smile, pumpkin ice cream. We are learning to make my smashed cheesecake with pumpkin ice cream and candied kumquats, my version of a truly wintry dessert. Cheesecake setting in the fridge. Candied kumquats are cooked and sitting on the side in that warm maple syrup. So the next bit is the pumpkin ice cream. So I need the pumpkin jumper to come up and help me make the pumpkin ice cream. So seasonal, Danny, so seasonal. So look, see?
Yes, it matches.
It's beautiful.
Quite
What
good,
a
isn't
palette
it?
of colours. That is truly wintry. Gorgeous. This is Jap pumpkin, all right? So very bright, very orange, very sweet. So I've taken half a pumpkin and I've cooked it in about 30 grams of butter. But the secret is a pot, heavy based, on a medium heat, grated pumpkin, lid on top. And what happens, those little grated pieces of pumpkin start to collapse. And when you can squash them between your fingers, that's the point that you puree it in a blender, all right? So that's the pumpkin puree. We set that to one side, and we're going to make an anglaise or a custard. All right, Danny, so 350 milk and 150 of cream. The reason we're not using all cream is that the ice cream will be too heavy. It becomes buttery. Cinnamon quill. So you can pop the gas on if you want. Do you want to do that? So high heat, up to the boil. And we're going to put in some nutmeg because we want to reinforce the flavour that we put in the syrup. OK, so that's going to come up to the boil. Separate bowl, 4 egg yolks, and 90 grams of sugar, caster sugar. Yep. Whisk until it's creamy, slightly pale. Right, that's perfect. Brilliant. It's important when you make custard or anglaise to set yourself up. And what I do is take a bowl, ice, and a sieve. And what we're going to do is pour half of that hot milk into the egg mixture. That's it, brilliant. And then pour the egg mixture back into the pot. And you put this on the ice. And you now want to cook the egg mixture out to about 72 to 80 degrees, which means you sterilise the egg and you maximise the thickening in the egg yolk. Do you know how to identify that?
What I usually do is get a wooden spoon. If I make a line down it and it stays, then I usually think it's thick enough.
OK, so let's try that. How's that?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Perfect, Danny.
OK,
Nice
good.
one.
Tip, let's go. All in one, scrape it around. Lovely. Look at that. Good stuff. OK, so we mix that around, cool it down. So what we're going to do is going to add this pumpkin mixture. About 1/3 pumpkin mixture to 2/3 of the anglaise.
It's a good colour, isn't it?
It's lovely, isn't it? So you can mix that together with the whisk if you want.
Great.
Right, do you know how to use this ice cream machine?
Yes.
Good. Let's lift that up. You just dry that and then pop that in the ice cream machine and start the churn. Good stuff. So ice cream's in the machine. I'm going to pop that on, start the churn. So that ice cream will take about 45 minutes, and when it's churned, we pop that in the freezer just to set for about half an hour. Go, Danny. Danny?
Thank you.
Thanks very much. So, cheesecake has set. Still nice and light. Ice cream, it's just been sitting in the fridge now for about half an hour to an hour. So we've churned it, just allowed it to set, all right? And the kumquats, they've just cooled down in the syrup, so they're nice and juicy and candied. All right? Right. Just in time.
Stuff.
I know. Let's plate this up. So cheesecake's nice and soft. I just want to make sure that I can get a nice quenelle out of it.
That looks yum.
The reason I call it a smash cheesecake, because I just want to, smash it. All right, so I'm just going to break it. And then I want to put, this is a shortbread biscuit with pumpkin seeds, which is the base. So I just want to pile a few little crumbs. And then kumquats. So we're going to put a few of these poached kumquats. And I've also got a mandarin curd. And that's just a straight curd, so it's mandarin juiced and zest, butter and eggs. And then lastly, we're going to put the ice cream. All right. Now what I did is I got some bacon cut really thin, and then I brushed that with sugar syrup and then dehydrated it in a slow oven. About 50 to 80 degrees will do the trick.
I love
so
that.
just put a couple of pieces, doesn't matter where it goes. Maybe on the ice cream. And then we've got our vanilla.
So that's the actual pod, yeah?
Yep, it's a little bit of vanilla pod.
Yum.
And then what I did is I wanted something that was like a leaf. So this is actually sheets of phyllo, which I've just buttered and sugared. And then you can just put a couple of little pieces just for texture. And I only chose it because it's Greek, George. So a few little greens. And I've also got some fennel fronds as well. So with the fennel fronds, all I've done is just pop them on a tray, a little spread of egg white and some icing sugar. And just put a couple, just in a little spot. And then some of that beautiful maple syrup that we cooked the kumquats in. And then, George, the final little bit, some nutmeg, just over the top. Yum, 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 yum. Wow. Hungry?
Yep. Yeah.
So there you go, that's my smashed cheesecake with pumpkin ice cream and candied kumquats. Right, tasters are helpers. So Alana, Danny, up you come.
I'm excited about this ice cream.
Now, you've had this cheesecake before, haven't you?
I have.
At Phoenix.
Yes.
So,
Have you?
yeah. Go on
Very
then.
good.
Crack in. Tell me if the pumpkin, the kumquat and the cheesecake all goes together.
Oh, I love that.
That cheesecake's great.
It's like Christmas pudding, isn't it?
There's some bacon.
Yeah.
The kumquats are still a bit tangy, which is nice. I like the mandarin curd too. Yeah, the mandarin curd.
That's magic, isn't it? I love mandarins,
Yeah.
it's gorgeous.
The
Danny?
bacon is the best. Pumpkin, bacon, maple syrup, and this is like really classy version of it.
Right. 1, 2. Only 3 of you left. Just the dregs for you. There you go. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Here
Well
we
done,
go,
guys.
guys.
Half a comfort, you can the other half.
So my 3 top tips for a smashed cheesecake, pumpkin ice cream. First of all, making that cheesecake. The sabayon, control the temperature and make sure that that mixture is aerated before it goes anywhere near the heat. Top tip number 2, make sure that the cream cheese is nice and soft before you try and mix it with the other ingredients. Top tip number 3, when making custard, be prepared. Have a bowl of ice, another bowl sitting inside it, and a sieve, so you can take the hot custard and cool it down really quickly to stop it scrambling. It's been a massive week, and don't forget, you're now part of the top 5. And I just want to say to the two of you that are going off with Mark Olive to have a wonderful masterclass.
Getting to get a private masterclass any week's great, but to have, you know, one with Mark Olive is just incredible. I know nothing about bush food, and he's the master of it.
Native herbs are so different to working with other herbs, and to be able to understand them and know how to use them could definitely give me an advantage in a future challenge.
Hi, I'm Kate.
I'm Michael.
I'm Mark Olive, known as the Black Olive and owner of Black Olive Catering. My style of food is contemporary Indigenous. I love to experiment with our Indigenous herbs and spices. What we have in this country is amazing. We've got to get out there and utilise what we have. We've embraced every other culture in this country except what we've got in our backyard. And if I can just change the thoughts and how people approach food in our country, I'll be a happy man. We've got a great masterclass for you guys today. It's going to be so exciting. We're in Ku-ring-gai National Park. We're going to be cooking with bush foods that you'll see around here. We're going to be cooking a kangaroo in a paperbark. We'll also be making a native damper and also this exciting relish to go with the kangaroo. It's going to be so zesty, so exciting. So come on, guys, let's go.
Sounds good.
So look, guys, there's lots of stuff that grows through the national park here. Look, here's a mint, actually. This is a lovely native mint. It's a long leaf. It's not like a flat leaf mint. It's got a really unusual flavour. It's almost like eucalyptus and mint together.
Yeah.
And there is another variety called a river mint, which is almost like spearmint and peppermint together. Oh, cool. So we've got a few varieties in this country, but this is great. Dry it out, put it on pineapple, watermelon, anything like that. Would be nice in granitas or a nice iced drink.
Do you eat it fresh? Yeah? Mm. So you just treat it like
any other mint, but you know, the taste is quite woody. Yeah. And it's got that eucalyptus flavour. So you need that sweetness with it as well. What comes to your mind when you sort of like taste this?
Something really, really sweet. I can imagine it going really well with.
You know, fruit, cheesecakes, anything like that would be great. Okay, guys, check this out. This is a blueberry ash. It's like a blueberry. The fruit is amazing. If you just have a look. It looks like a little blueberry, doesn't it? Look, great for when you're making sauces, jams, anything like that. It's got a hard seed in it. It's almost like a ryeberry as well. The fruit is very tart, has a hard seed in the middle. And when you break it, it's got this lovely, lovely colour. And look, if you taste it, very, very tart.
How would you get the seed out?
Thing is, you'd boil it down, make sure you take the seeds out afterwards, strain it, put it through a sieve, get the fruit out like that on the flesh on the outside. So, and look, I equate this to a blueberry.
Yeah.
So when it's done, not as sweet, but looks like, and once you process it, beautiful. Okay, Kate and Michael, what we've got here is a melaleuca tree. And why I've just shown this, we're going to cook kangaroo later on in paperbark. Now, as you can see, I'm just going to peel this bit to reveal a nice sheet here. And what I've got is just a stick. Now, I wouldn't encourage everybody out to go and do this. This stuff is processed now and you can buy it readily. But look, if you're out bush, I call this the Outback alfoil because it's fantastic.
Cool.
Okay, what I'm doing is just cutting a square, and you don't want to go down too far because we don't want to ring bark the tree. Take the first layer off. So you've come down to this.
Yeah.
Now we've got that sheet there. I'll just get you to hold that.
And so that's the bit we use?
No, this is the bit here.
Ah.
So what we're doing, getting that and peeling that back. That's the sheet we need. It's got that lovely woody flavour.
Oh, yeah.
When you cook it down, releases this lovely oil. Okay, look, here we have a lemon myrtle.
Oh, wow.
This is a really small one. Have a smell of that, Kate and Michael. Put that in your hands. Now crush it up. Take a really big whiff of it. This is great for seafood.
Yeah.
Doing crustaceans, crabs, anything like that, really nice.
So could you use them like a kaffir lime leaf or something like that?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Lovely piece of barramundi. Lay it over the top, crush it down a bit, dust it down with a bit of powdered lemon myrtle. Lovely in the paper bark. Wrap it up, seal it, tie it up. This is so versatile, everybody should have it in their cupboard. When you think about it, Kate, we've embraced every other food, every other spice in this world, except what we've got in our own backyard. So if we can get this out there and people utilising it, how rich are we? Okay, guys, the banquet today is going to be huge. What we're going to have is a kangaroo in the paperbark. We're also going to be doing a damper with that twist, but we're going to start off with this amazing relish. Very easy for people at home, and especially the kids to get in. Very healthy as well. You can utilise it with, look, any cut of meat, lamb, beef, but really goes nice with kangaroo and emu. And look, bit of camel, bit of buffalo, really, really nice. And I think what makes it really nice is these herbs that we have here. Now, look, come over and have a look at these. These are amazing. This is the native basil. And if you smell that, have a smell of that, Kate. Oh. It's got that lovely basil scent to it.
It does have a very dry basil.
Really, really great. We've also got, you know, our native salt and pepper. This is the salt bush. Good thing about it, very, very good for you, low in sodium, and it hasn't got a lot of the negative effects of salt. And we've got the mountain pepper here, originated from Tasmania. If you want to try a little bit on your palate, it's got that lovely warm tinge on the roof of your mouth. Really, really different.
It's actually quite mild.
Okay, with this as well, this relish, we're going to be using the kuchera powder. It comes from the kuchera fruit. And on the eastern coast over here, it's called bush tomato. Everybody's heard of bush tomato.
Yeah.
Put a little bit on your palate, let it develop. When you put it on there, it's quite tart.
Very tart.
And then after a while, you'll get this sweet aftertaste. And it makes a great base for when you're doing sauces, gravies, stews, casseroles. Now here we have the sea parsley. Now the sea parsley looks like continental parsley. It's got this lovely, lovely woody, almost celeric flavour to it as well, and scent. So a little bit of that on your tongue.
It's a very earthy kind of flavour.
So you've got all these different flavours within all of these herbs. And we're going to make a basic relish for this. You know what, Kate, I'm going to get you to do it.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, got these lovely tomatoes, these truss tomatoes, that lovely scent they have to them. Just score them, put them into boiling water, plunge them in there for 40 seconds, take them out, peel them. You get this lovely fruit. Again, cut those in half, take the seeds out, remove them, then just dice them up. These lovely truss tomatoes, cubed, beautiful. Okay, Kate, what we're going to do first is put the vinegar in. We've got a cup of vinegar. And then we've got half a cup of sugar, if you just want to put that in as well. Grab a spoon, start stirring that around. You just want to dissolve that over the heat. We've got onions. Throw
How many
those
onions?
in about half a cup.
Half a cup of onion.
And a green capsicum. Stir that through. Now, we're going to bring this to the boil. And as that sort of like softens up, you'll get those flavours coming out. So this is almost coming to the boil now, Kate. You can start smelling the capsicum and also the onions coming out of that. What we're going to do now, and we'll start putting this in with the vinegar and that now. We've got a dessert spoon there.
Dessert spoon.
You can smell that basil?
Yeah, basil, yeah.
Comes straight out, doesn't it? Okay. Got a dessert
That's the
spoon
salt
of the
bush?
salt bush. Dessert spoon of the mountain pepper, Tasmanian mountain pepper. We've got the sea parsley.
So dessert spoon of that.
And we got 1.5 dessert spoons of the kuchera, because that is the base of it.
Which is the bush tomato.
Yeah. We'll let that boil up and you can smell those flavours coming out. OK, now we'll put the tomatoes in as well, Kate.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. What we're going to do now is leave that on the simmer for a good hour. That will just reduce right down, and that's it basically. That's fine. That's a nice relish. Now that's hot. We can put it on hot or cold. OK, now we've done the relish. Next is the damper, and it's a damper with a twist. Cool. Now, damper, as you know, very poor man's bread in its day. Michael, I might get you to put this together. I hear you're a bit of a bread boy from way back.
I like baking, yeah.
Now, we've got self-raising flour, we've got plain flour. Yep. So we've got 500 grams, 250 grams here. Beautiful. You just want to put that in the bowl.
Yep.
And that has been sifted, so it's nice and light, it's been aerated. And if you just bung that in there as well.
Save a bit for the dusting.
Yeah, just save a little bit for your hands. So I've put in about an extra 100 grams there, just to later on we want to roll out the little dinner rolls, what we're going to do. We've got 50 grams of butter here. Beautiful. Now, we've cut that into knobs, looks like little cheese cubes, don't they? What I want you to do is start rubbing your hands through that. Break that down, perfect. Now, there really isn't any secret to this. It's just, you know, bringing it together, really. OK, now with that, we've got the mountain pepper. Beautiful. We've got a dessert spoon of mountain pepper there. Got a dessert spoon of the saltbush. And there's 1 dessert spoon of the sea parsley. So if you just want to bring that through, perfect. Now with that as well, we make a little well in there. We've got, we've got 400 mils of water, but the difference here, it's warm water, so it's almost hottish as well. We've got milk, 250 mils of the milk as well. I'm going to put all of this liquid in first. Just let me get that in there. We got the milk. Because you can go buy milk anywhere. I mean, I didn't go and milk a wombat for that, but... OK. Now, just combine from the out and just bring it in. You just want to bring all of that together. You just fold it. Don't press into it or anything. Just keep folding it. That's nice and soft. Kate, if you want to feel that.
Oh, it's very soft.
Yeah, really soft.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. That's what you're looking for, that little bit of warmth. With that, just dust this. That's it. You just want to bring that together, knead that, just really lightly. You can see how soft it is. Then we'll just cut it up into little dinner rolls. Yep. Beautiful. So that's all we're going to do. And look, like this is so rustic and so rough and ready. A little bit of flour on there as well. Look, you can put a little bit of oil on there so it does come off. Like I said, combine that very quickly, very rough and ready. So, look, and they're different sizes sometimes, but they do come together very well. So we can brush it down with a little bit of milk if you want, or just put it straight in like that. We're just going to put it straight in. OK, we've put it in. That's at 180 degrees. And look, check it after 15, 20 minutes. Got a little bit extra there. Waste not, want not. We've got our 12 there. Just straight in there like that. OK. Very easy. Let that one stay in there. Nice and warm. We're going to have one?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
OK, look. Look, there's hardly any salt, so, you know, go the lashings of butter.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, it's all about balance.
You go, Kate, do you want that one?
Oh, thanks.
Ouch.
Love it when it melts.
You can taste the flavours come through.
You can. All the mountain pepper. I'm so sold on that saltbush because it's so salty in flavour, but so much better for you.
OK, guys, that's our damper done. We've got our relish done. Let's get onto the kangaroo. Now we'll put these aside and we might just heat these up later. Cool. We're into our banquet now. We've done the relish, we've done the dampers, we've just set them aside. Now we've got the roux. Now what we're going to do with it today is just wrap it in a little bit of paperbark. You can go out there and buy this, and this is what it's like, and it's that colour cake, you know, that we saw there. Same smell.
Yeah.
That lovely, lovely woody texture, and you just rip it apart as well. So it's just, it's an amazing thing. Now, we're going to use about 150 grams piece of fillet. Lovely, lovely fillet, as you can see here.
It's a really dark colour.
Yeah. It's a lovely, lean piece of meat. Have you heard of a quandong?
Yeah.
Like, quandong is a fruit. It's also known as the native peach, a vibrant red fruit, really, really unique. If you want to smell that, it's almost got a peachy flavour, and put a little bit on your tongue and let it develop. It's got a lovely, lovely fruity taste to it. We've also got here as well some native thyme. Now, give me your palm here for a tick. Now, rub it into your palm and smell your palm. It's got it's amazing, refreshing, really vibrant. That gives it a lovely thyme flavour as well. And here is some of the wattle seed. Now, what do you think that smells like?
It's coffee, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, coffee.
And look, great making anything sweet. Great in whipped cream. You put that in whipped cream, pops. Really, really nice. Okay, now we're going to mix this together. Our herb mix to encrust the kangaroo. We've got a dessert spoon plus half a teaspoon in there as well. That's the quandong powder. The quandongs have been dried up, ground down in a mortar and pestle. This is what it's like. So you get that lovely fruity colour. We've got a teaspoon of saltbush. We've got our teaspoon of basil. A teaspoon of mountain pepper. We've got our thyme. We've got a teaspoon of our wattle seed. Mix this all together. I'm going to do just a little bit of salt. Okay, now the paperbark. We've cut that down to size, basically. Really, really easy. What I'm going to do is brush it down with a little bit of the macadamia nut oil. It's a local oil, and that's good for you. And I've also got some water, because what I'm going to put some water in here for is to just put that in so it'll give it a bit of steam, and it'll dampen down the paperbark as well. Okay, now we've done that. Got our herbs here, got our fillet. What I'm going to do is just on one side. That's all I'm going to do. I don't want to encase it because there's going to be a lot of flavour coming out of that, right? Little bit of oil, nice and hot. Put that straight on there. I want to let that sear.
What other meat do you think this particular spice rub would work well on?
Oh, look, a bit of beef, a bit of lamb. You can use the river mint, put that with a mixture as well, make up your own little rub, put it on lamb. Makes it pop a rack of lamb. Gorgeous. Yeah. Okay, that's all we need to do. Okay, just sear it on both ends. It's still really soft. Now, kangaroo is best eaten medium rare to rare.
Right.
Putting that straight in there, no more, nothing less. Just a little bit of that herb mix just around there. I'm going to wrap this up. What we're going to do is just tie the roux fillet in there. So just wrap it on either side like that. And again, we're just going to brush it down with a little bit of water on the outside, just to dampen it, because we're going to wrap this in a little bit of foil. And with the moisture on there and the oils inside, it will cook it further.
Nice.
Just really, really easy on both ends.
Oh, beautiful.
Now we've preheated our oven here. Now this is on 180 degrees, straight onto the plate, straight into the oven. Leave that in there no more than 10 minutes. Time for the big reveal.
Yeah.
Okay, look, I've just whacked a couple of dampers in there before as well. Just to warm them through, we'll just sit those back in there for a sec.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
See the steam, how that's broken down. Clip that, just trim those ends. I'm gonna find our roux.
Oh, wow.
Just take that off there. Keep some of the juices on there. Now we've really got to find that, the grain.
Yeah, beautiful.
There it is. Nice and pink. You've got that lovely pink hue colour in there. It's beautiful. Got the lovely peppery relish. Okay, I've got some of these warrigal greens here, also known as a native spinach, also botany greens. Really, really nice. Just a little bit of colour there, but they are quite nice and quite tasty. Some of the dampers now. Beautiful.
It looks good.
Of course, we need some butter. Just to put that there, that is so hot. Michael, Kate, it's been a huge day. It's been great. You must be starving.
Yep.
Enjoy, go for it. Tell me what you think.
We will.
Have a bit of damper with it too, because all of those flavours do come together. You can make a little damper relish burger.
That is so tasty and so packed full of flavour.
I love that relish. That relish is fantastic. That mountain pepper is my favourite thing.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Okay, guys, I've got the top 3 tips for today. Don't overcook the kangaroo. You've got to have that lovely pink hue through it. With the damper, don't knead it until it's like leather. Just bring that together so it's that nice and fluffy, you know, look. And with the herbs, don't be frightened to experiment. Think about flavours, think about meats, think about all of the elements of food and how you can combine those.
Thank you so much, Mike, for sharing your knowledge with us. But I have learnt so much today and I feel really excited about using Indigenous ingredients.
It's really cool and it's something I'm going to test out in the future. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Finish off that.
Yeah, we will.
Water. How was it, seriously, meeting the Dalai Lama?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Talks about definition of happiness. So you just left with the sensation of breathing.
Right. How do we like that? Are we inspired by that smashed cheesecake?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Right, everybody, just a little bit of silence. So look around you. To the top 5 and to the person who wins. Good luck.
Next time on MasterChef Australia.
You are fighting for the last immunity up for offer in this competition.
A cunning challenge worthy of the prize.
This mystery box is gonna mess with your heads. It's been designed with just one thing in mind, and that's strategy.
Each contestant chooses ingredients for another.
You know their strengths and you know their weaknesses.
And everyone gets exactly what they don't want.
I've just spent 2/3 of this challenge faffing around with all of these ingredients.
I don't really know what to do with this thing.
But if they get it right, they could win the chance to cook in the most valuable immunity challenge so far.
Win that challenge. You know where you are?
Finals week.
Please, please, please.